Hi, I'm Ray Hagar with the Reno Gazette-Journal, and welcome to an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers. Sam Shad has the day off today, but we're going to be talking about furniture and medicine and how they affect the future of Las Vegas and Nevada. There is a connection. Today we're going to be talking about the future of downtown Las Vegas. Our first guest is Gerry Sawyer, the CEO of the World Market Center. And our second guest is Dr. Stephen McFarlane, a University of Nevada speech pathologist and a former dean of the medical school. And on today's Pundit panel, we have Matt Sharp, Travis Souza, and Harry York. So let's roll for an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Today we're on the phone with Gerry Sawyer, the CEO of the World Market Center in Las Vegas. Welcome, Mr. Sawyer.
Well, hi, Ray. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and you?
Oh, just wonderful. But, Ray, let me correct you. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. We have no CEO.
All right. Let me see if I have the next statement correct, and correct me if I don't. Your World Market Center is a 1.3 million square foot home furnishing showroom complex that you host 2 national and international shows a year, and in 7 years you're expanding to 12 million square feet. Is that correct?
That is correct, Ray.
My goodness, that's like the 3rd largest city in Nevada.
Well, absolutely, but the complex, actually, the building that we have just constructed is the smallest building at 1.3 million square feet, but we also have the pavilions on site, which total another 350,000 square feet of show space on property.
That's amazingly big. Now, your first show in July, from all press reports, was a huge success. You had 53,000 people on the first day. You helped drive up the convention business by 36%, and also in that month of July was the first time ever that McCarran International went over 4 million passengers in 1 month. What kind of impact will the world market center have overall in the long run of Las Vegas?
Well, we think of it as a defining moment for Las Vegas, Ray, because the city is reinventing itself by bringing in an industry that has never before been in Las Vegas, and by establishing the showcase here, we are adding a second economic leg to Las Vegas beyond gaming.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that I find interesting about your business is that we in northern Nevada and rural Nevada love Las Vegas because of all the gaming win tax that you give to the state, but also now Las Vegas is a huge source of sales tax revenue for our state, and do you think that sales tax will someday overcome gaming win tax as one of the top ways of financing state government here in Nevada?
Well, I'm not sure if sales tax is the right term because we are not retailers, Ray. We are wholesalers. The real benefit to Las Vegas is not just the fact that we bring in market attendees twice a year. And for the record, the last attendance count for the first market was 62,000 attendees. It was 53,000 recorded at the end of the first day. And that was because we had 1,200 exhibiting companies that were showing at World Market Center, and 243 of those were in the building, 111 of those were at the pavilions, and the remaining over 800 companies at the Las Vegas Convention Center, where we leased out an additional 650,000 square feet in the central halls and another 100,000 square feet of exhibition in the north halls alone, which made it the largest debut in the history of the United States.
That's huge. Now, also, I know the Thailand ambassador to the United States recently visited Las Vegas, and he mentioned in a news story in the Las Vegas Sun that he would like to do business with your organization, perhaps export some of their home furnishings and furniture to the World Market Center. How are you negotiating with the nation of Thailand over this?
Well, believe it or not, there have been several exhibition companies ranging the gamut from, as you mentioned, Thailand, India, and other locations around the world. We had 83 countries represented in the form of buyers that attended our market, and we also hosted 161 international exhibitors that were showing their product lines at our temporary venues at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Okay, now, the big dog or the New York Yankees of your business is located in North Point, North Carolina.
Actually, that's High Point.
High Point, excuse me, North Carolina. Do you see yourself someday growing larger than High Point and perhaps being the home furnishing showroom capital of the world?
Well, we are marketing towards the world. We're not marketing towards the United States solely. As far as being larger, right now our construction plans are to be over 12 million square feet. So, yes, we do see the physical, geographic size of our market being larger. However, I think what really makes our market spectacular is it will all be under the control of one building, or I should say one management corporation managing the 8 facilities, which will make up that 12.2 million square feet, whereas some of the complexity of High Point was that market grew over time. It's been in existence for close to 100 years. Mm-hmm. It has 160 different facilities scattered over 20 miles, owned by 150 different owners. Therefore, the management of the facility, as well as the ease of being able to shop the facility, makes ours extremely attractive, because you can come to one location, park your vehicle, and walk by bridge to each level of each building. So you could start on floor 2 of Building 1, or Building A we call it, and go through floor 2 of every building in the complex if you wanted to.
Oh, Mr. Sawyer, I think that your buildings down there are truly fascinating and awesome. I want to thank you for coming on Nevada Newsmakers today.
Not a problem.
Okay, good luck to you.
Okay, Ray. Also, Ray,
Yes, sir.
one last quick thing. The World Market Center offers a whole new dimension to not only Las Vegas, but the state of Nevada that wasn't mentioned so far, and that is it offers a design inspiration where you have 40 manufacturers co-located in one location that's open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, for the regional designers, interior designers, and hospitality specifiers, where they can see 40 different exhibitors' products in one shot.
Well, before I do anything else with my home, I'm flying to Vegas and see what you got.
Well, there you go.
Okay, God bless you, sir.
Okay, take care, Ray.
Bye-bye. We'll be back right after this with our pundit panel.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
Happy hour at the Peppermill.
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to the program Dr. Stephen McFarlane. He is professor of speech pathology at UNR and former dean of the medical school, which is the reason we wanted to invite him here. And he's also one of the authors of the world best-selling book, The Voice and Voice Therapy. And I can attest to his knowledge because he saved my voice. Appreciate you being here. The reason I wanted to have you come in here, Dr. McFarlane, is all this discussion about an academic medical center and the discussions that have gone on between the mayor of Las Vegas and also the chancellor of the university, Jim Rogers, who also owns Sunbelt Broadcasting, upon which this program airs on his stations. Explain to us what this is all about for the layman, if you would.
Well, okay, may I give one caveat at the beginning,
Sure.
and that is that I'm not the dean anymore, so I'm not speaking with any authority on this.
And that's why we wanted you to come in, because you didn't have a dog in the fight.
Right, very much interested in it. I've spent 30 years at the School of Medicine. This is my third School of Medicine that I've been at in 3 different states. And the idea of an academic medical center is that, number one, the School of Medicine, University of Nevada School of Medicine, has a statewide mission, and so we're interested in the health of everyone in the state of Nevada and trying to do the best to continue to upgrade the standards of care and that sort of thing. So, and we get into a lot of discussion about what that means, training of physicians and education and patient care and those things. Las Vegas is the largest city in the United States without a major academic medical center. It doesn't have an academic medical center. An academic medical center is where you bring together teaching, research, and patient care. And so obviously you have to have a medical school involved to do this. And when you think about the major medical centers around the United States are always associated with a medical school. And so the idea is to bring the teaching aspect and the research aspect of the medical school to bear on patient care in a major metropolitan area, which is Las Vegas in our state. And so the idea is to develop that center. And the school has a statewide mission in that it's all parts of the state, rural as well as urban.
Do you think it's better about this academic medical center? Do you think it's better maybe to buy it or to grow it? Buy it by partnering with the University of Pittsburgh, or growing it by partnering with local doctors and having the thing grow slowly?
Well, I think, and I've looked at both aspects of it while I was dean and working to develop that with the mayor and with the possible partners that we've looked at. I think there's advantages and disadvantages. I don't think it's all or none. Some of the advantages, obviously, if you partner with an established program, medical school, and research base, you have the advantage of bringing that expertise into the area. And that helps you attract more people and quality people over time. And so there's an advantage to a rather quick ramping up, if you will. The local and growing it locally takes more time. Right. And there are advantages, however, in terms of town gown issues and those kinds of things. Always people who are in a practice in the private sector are concerned about people coming in and so forth, and how that changes the character of the practice and the character of the community. But there are advantages and disadvantages to both aspects, and there are some compromises as well. Whenever a person presents with an illness that's very significant, very rare, or requires rather Herculean kinds of medicine, those people are referred out to major medical centers usually anyway. And so then they're followed up, brought back and followed up by whoever made the referral in the first place. So this would give a major medical center where you would have expertise and the state-of-the-art procedures and equipment to be able to treat patients with those kinds of disorders or diseases.
The Hospital Association already contributes around $22 million a year into the medical school, and they've said that they will contribute up to $45 million a year, but the response has been that the Hospital Association doesn't get it. What's missing here?
Well, I don't know that I can really speak to that with any great amount of authority because there have been some really recent developments that I've not been involved with, and you probably ought to speak with Dr. John McDonald. I don't know if you have yet or not.
I know we'd like
He's
to have
the new
program.
Dean of the Medical School. I say new, he's been here over a year. It was a year, July 15th, I think, that he has been here. He was my replacement. I was very glad to see him. And he's a pulmonologist by training and a very nice person, a good person to work with, and we're fortunate to have him here. He came to us from Mayo in Scottsdale, and is a very fine person to work with and talk to, so I'm sure he'd be happy to join you and talk about that.
Regent Rosenberg brought up on the program the other day the suggestion that the medical school move to Southern Nevada and the Boyd School of Law moved to Northern Nevada. What's your thought on that, briefly?
Well, I guess everybody has a thought on that. I would just simply say that the School of Medicine has a statewide mission, as I said, and so it's important to realize that, and we're actually serving that mission as we're configured now. We've been providing medical care in Las Vegas and medical education in Las Vegas, and so the school currently is doing that. We're working to develop a bigger presence there, more permanent home. We have space that we lease from UMC there, and we have partnering programs with a number of programs there in Las Vegas, and so we're already in Las Vegas. Now, to move the school lock, stock, and barrel, I don't think that's a very smart move for anybody's perspective, because the school is so well established here in terms of the base for basic science and research and educational basis here, and so the state would have to invest another, put a number on $300 million in equipment, and then individuals probably, again, another big investment in that to get where we are now.
Doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
And we're out of time. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, safe ride home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe voting campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
Hey, welcome back, and here we are with our extreme pundit panel today. First, we have Democrat Travis Souza, the founder of BlueVoter.net. Then we have Harry York, CEO of the Reno-Sparks Chamber of Commerce, and attorney Matt Sharp of Bradley, Drendel, and Janae, one of the top firms in our city of Reno. Travis, let me start with you. The Gazette-Journal today published a story where First Lady Dina Gwynn was saying that congressional candidate Don Gibbons really does not have time to be both the Congresswoman for Nevada and the First Lady of Nevada if her husband is elected governor. What are your thoughts on that?
That's an interesting question. I mean, that she did point out that it is a full-time job, and all the First Ladies have done a pretty good job of being that. I really think that Dawn doesn't have the time. She's going to have to make that choice of how she wants to serve Nevada and how that's going to impact her husband's campaign and his race. I'm worried if she does get elected. I mean, I think there's going to be a big split there, and the Republican caucus will kind of have their way with her in Washington.
Okay. Harry, can she do both jobs? She's a very capable woman.
Dawn can probably do whatever she would like to do. I mean, she has a lot of energy. She's a very bright lady, but I would question whether she's going to have time to do both. I mean, it really splits herself. And I think it's more than, the First Lady job is more than just a weekend job.
All right. Matt, do you think these comments by the First Lady escalates the Gwynn versus Gibbons type of rivalry?
Well, I think in all due respect first to the First Lady, I think Dawn Gibbons has a choice, and I think she can handle that choice, and she should be allowed to run and present her campaign. And secondly, we still have a gubernatorial race, and last time I checked, Jim Gibbons is not governor. So I think we're all this is all, in my opinion, premature.
Right, okay. Let's move on to talking about the governor's race. Of course, last week we had a bombshell dropped on us where Speaker of the Assembly Richard Perkins decided not to run after he was ramping up for this race for years and years. Harry?
Well, I think you could almost see it at the end of not this session, of the last session, during the gross receipts effort, where he got beat up pretty bad. He had one constituency that he was working an issue, and then it came to the end, and that issue didn't carry. And then I think it carried into this last session where he tried to build a new base, but I don't think he carried that off. You could just start to see his support erode over this last session.
Okay, Travis, now the gubernatorial primary for Democrats is a two-person race. Henderson Mayor Jim Gibson, right, and Senate Minority Leader Dina Titus, who's the front runner now.
Well, that's a tough one to say. I mean, I would think that Dina would kind of have a little bit of the edge because she's been in the race and she's been working it quite a bit. But there's a lot of people in the party, I think, that are just not ready to sign on with Dina, and they're taking a strong look at Gibson. Okay. And so it'll be an interesting race. But now that it is a two-person race, that'll allow them to really get down to brass tacks, so to speak, and not kind of have to watch their flanks as much.
Okay. Now, Matt, many of the candidates are saying that the real battleground here would be northern Nevada and the rural counties. How do you think these two Democrats, Gibson and Titus, play to northern Nevada and the rural counties?
Well, I think Senator Titus is going to have problems up in the north, given her past history, although, you know, with the influx of our population, maybe Senator Titus will be able to get a base here, but I think that would favor Mayor Gibson in a Democratic race if he was able to gather the north.
Okay, Harry, can either one of these candidates beat Jim Gibbons?
Yes.
Can you expand on that?
I think that when it gets down to the final election, if that's who it is, that they will appear different. I think Jim sometimes says some wrong things that rub a lot of people wrong, and you got to go, wow, why did he say that? And I think that there will be a lot of mainstream people that won't agree with his beliefs and some of the things that he says, away from issues. I mean, there'll be a good discussion on issues, because clearly he will have different positions than either one of the two Democratic candidates on the issues. But I think it'll come down to, you know, Jim maybe saying the wrong thing again that he's done 2 or 3 times already.
Well, he's alienated everybody who wears Birkenstocks. So, Travis, real quick, how do you look at this race? Can Gibbons be beat? I know you're going to say yes.
Well, I'd love to see it happen. I think it can be done. I think that the Democrats just have to play it smart out in the rurals. I mean, they have to at least make inroads out in the rurals too.
But that's Gibbons' territory, rural Nevada.
Well, I know, but you can't just write it off. You have to get out there and play and be competitive.
Okay, and I know that Senator Titus is doing that. That's all we have time for right now. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. For a quick bite and the best sandwiches in town, it's the Whistle Stop Deli. And for the best appetizers and menu selections and a large variety of cocktails, beers, and martinis, it's Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
Thanks for watching today. Don't miss tomorrow's show. We're going to have Assembly Speaker Richard Perkins on and find out why he's dropped out of the gubernatorial race. Again, thanks for watching.